Welcome to the edition of Let's Play Farming Simulator 2013 on The American Farm. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the soybean great demand is upon us. Whoops, I totally went past it. As you can see, there we are. 6 hours remaining on the soybean. It's a 1.7 times great demand, which is good for us. For the time being, I've left the John Deere 9630 there with a Case IH Precision Air cart and seeder there, just to keep them out of the way for the time being. Don't really have many other places to put it. That where I can leave it together, I suppose. I could pull it into the shed there, but for now it's fine there. We have a couple fields that are ready to harvest as well. Let's just double check. What do we got here? So we got 17 and 13. 18's not quite ready yet. So we may go ahead and harvest one of those this episode. Not sure yet. Actually, one of those I think is soybeans. One of them soybeans? 8 is soybeans, so maybe. We'll see. That one was the only one that wasn't ready, basically, so which is unfortunate. Alright, so we're going to go and I'm going to show you what I did off camera. So I harvested those 3 fields off camera, and I collected the crops from each of them. So right now we're sitting at 228,000 barley, 137,000 canola, 167,000 corn, and 399,000 liters of soybeans, and 243,000 liters of oats. So I kept some straw here. I kept 2 loads of straw on our auto stacker wagon. I just left them there for the time being. The rest I sold in our bale. I don't want to say destroyer, but that thing in the corner over there. So I kept just 2 of them for the time being because we haven't used a crazy amount of straw. So I think that is acceptable for the time being. Now, because we do have almost 400,000 liters of soybeans, we're going to go ahead and start selling that. Now, I don't know how much money we're going to get from it. We're going to find out soon enough. So we'll hop in our Peterbilt here. Peterbilt's 379. This is one of the Duke farming semis, if you're wondering. They're supposed to be available to download. I don't know. According to what Dirt Tebers was saying, you could download Duke's mods by some other person, but I haven't been to the site yet, and I haven't double checked on that, but he said they were available, so maybe it's still work in progress. I don't know yet. So basically, when I had access to Duke's site, I downloaded all the mods I liked. We're looking for soybeans. I downloaded all the mods I liked, so this is one of the ones I liked. This and the Kenworth T800 I liked as well, so I kept both of those and some of the other stuff that I liked of his, so that's why I still have them personally. Now, there was something that someone suggested. I forget who suggested it, but it was to clean off the equipment. It is getting rather dirty, so we're going to go ahead and do that as well. So let's just hop over here while that's filling up and do that before I forget about it. Now, the funny thing is, it's supposed to rain today, so I believe when it actually does rain, it cleans off your equipment as well. Although I can't be sure. So in order to make sure that our equipment is indeed clean, we're going to go ahead and clean it up. Alright. Is it B? I don't know what the... Turn on pressure washer. Well, apparently the pressure washer doesn't want to be turned on. Can't even pick up. Nope. Alright, well, that's going to stay there apparently. I wonder why it can't turn on. Maybe if I have to bring a tractor over it? That's a bit strange. I wonder if that's what you have to do. Doesn't make sense that you would, but let's just see if that is indeed the case. I suppose it's possible, but oh, that's strange. No, nothing. Alright, well, it wants to play that game, so we'll do it this way. Let's see what happens. Maybe if we sell it and buy it again, I don't know. And then reset it. Perhaps that'll work this time. If not, well, you'll know that I tried at least. Where is it? On the other side now? Yeah. Yep, definitely not working. Alright, well guys, I tried. Nope. Left click, right click, pressing B, nothing. Alright. Well, that is just going to stay there. Actually, no, it's not. I'm just going to sell it. It is supposed to work. Don't know why it's not going to work, but it doesn't want to. So, sorry guys, I definitely tried. I thought it would work. It has in the past, so I don't know why it's not working now, but perhaps it's a mod conflict. I have no idea. But in order to prevent any future issues, I guess, we'll just keep it sold. So, it's not that expensive, luckily, so... Alright, so it's 7:26. I don't know how many liters we're going to be able to sell before it turns 8 o'clock. Because you... Well, I'm sure as you're aware, once you sell a few loads of soybeans or whatever else it happens to be, the price will drop considerably. So... Alright, and we got our Ford over there. He's sitting there with the trailer. For our header trailer. I don't even look where this was, the mill. I have to check my notes where the mill is. You think I'd remember by now? It's Cargill or Farmers Co-op. Okay, good. You think I would remember where these things were, but I don't sell very often, so I guess that's the reasons why I don't think about it. So, c'est la vie, I suppose. Luckily it's close, it's not as far as the inn, which is super far away. Or I think the farm shop, is it the farm shop? I think it's what the other one's called, which is also really far away as well. Luckily this one's nice and close, so... I could theoretically course play this, but... It's not that big of a deal. It's close enough. Alright, so let's just go sell this. So we're sitting at $123,869. Let's see where this jumps up. So let's see what the current price is just quickly. 1,686. Oh my goodness. That's worth quite a lot. Alright, well, I'm fine with that, but it is going to give us quite a bit of money. Yeah, that's going to give us quite a bit of money. Oh goodness. But that will allow us to get a new field, which is good, which is one of the things we need to do still. We do need to get one field, I should say. Doesn't matter which field we get actually, as long as we have 4 fields. That was one of the goals we set for ourselves when we started out the season, was to get 4 fields. And because they are slightly larger fields, they do cost a bit of money. So I'm going to have to keep that in mind. And I suppose I could just set them to harvest. I don't know why I don't start harvesting right now. The soybeans, that one right there. Is it done? No, it's still not done yet, so I guess we'll have to just wait on that one. I could start, but it wouldn't, it does a headland first, so it wouldn't cut everything, which would be a little annoying, so. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll just dog in right here. I don't know why I said dog in. I don't think I've ever used that before. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we're gonna get another load of soybeans. Might as well capitalize on the great demand. Definitely worth it. And there we go. Just gonna hop into our combine here. It was going to be nice, fresh and clean, but don't know what happened with that pressure washer mod. I have used it before. I used it in one of the previous seasons and I had no problems, so I'm not really sure what happened there, so I guess I'll just have to let it leave it for the time being. So we live and learn, I guess. I don't know. That's what I'm going for. Alright, so I forget what we have planted. I think we have wheat planted up here, and there's no great demand for wheat coming up or anything like that. Oops. Not that I'm aware of. I didn't even look. No. Barley, yes. Wheat, not so much. So let's go ahead and get started on this right here. Because it's sitting there, you might as well harvest it while you're doing something else. Luckily, we can do this without having to babysit it too much, which is good. Just gotta hop in the Ford, start her up, so I can detach the header trailer. If you don't, well then that's just bad news. Perfect. Move him out of the way here. Perfect. Alright, so let's get this guy set up. Did I fill him up? I don't think I did. I should have done that when I drove him over here. Yeah, I'm going to go fill it up first. Because he is definitely going to need some fuel. Because I'm pretty sure he'll be like halfway down his tank, or more than halfway down his tank, and he'll be like, hey, by the way, I need some fuel, and it'll just be madness. Yeah, you would never drive a combine around the farmyard probably with a header unless you had the space for it, I guess. But even then, it's funny. The combine I was in was a while back was a John Deere 9670, and what they used to do with theirs is they used to keep it whenever it got below half, they would top it off, and trying to keep a combine topped off is not cheap at all. It is very expensive, so. Oh, weird. I thought I took the top off. Guess not. So it's very expensive, so I don't know how much the actual operating cost would be to keep it running, but it's quite a lot, to say the least. Actually, that's one of the reasons why you'll actually, like in this game, for example, a lot of times people will get every little bit of crop that's on the field, and in real life, if you miss a little tiny bit, you're not going to drive a combine that burns through fuel like there's no tomorrow and get, like, you know, a few extra seeds. It's definitely not worth it. You try and make it as efficient as possible. So, and the other thing you have to consider is, like, if you're getting pressed by rain, for example, we are today here on the map, or in real life, if you're pressed if there's rain coming, that's another situation you have to deal with. Basically, one of the biggest things you got to think about is if your combine's not being efficient and it's just sitting there doing nothing and you could be running, yeah, it's not a good enough investment is what it boils down to, because you only got to use your combine during harvest season, and if it's sitting there, not good. So what a lot of guys will do is they'll do custom farming stuff. So they will contract out they'll do the work for another farmer, and what will happen is the farmer will pay for it either like on the spot, maybe not on the spot, but it'll pay for it in advance or after the harvest comes off the field, stuff like that. A lot of farmers have deals with other farmers set up to get things done on the farm, because it's not always possible to do things yourself. Because you can actually run a farm without actually owning all the equipment. Like, for example, my in-laws, they don't own a combine, but they have a close friend that they get him to do custom work for them every year. So he'll come in and do the combining for them and whatnot. So, do we need straw? No, not really. I don't feel like collecting straw again. I did it off camera already once before. All right, so let's just hop in our New Holland here. Our New Holland T7550, or let me try that again. The New Holland 7550. There you go. That's a bit better. Anyways, oh man. All right, so I'm gonna hook this up to our gravity wagon and get our combine rolling. We need to bring back our Peterbilt, or else we're not gonna make this delivery in time, because we want to try and get it as close to on time as possible. And by on time, of course, I mean before the hour is up. So this is field 13, unload, version 2. Alright, perfect. It's funny, actually, I started recording this episode initially, and then I realized I didn't have the pressure washer mod installed. So I left the game and then started the game up again with the pressure mod installed. And then the funny thing is as you saw, the pressure washer didn't work at all. So how funny is that, eh? Oh well. Alright, do a little bit of a UE here. So we're at $361,000. And how many liters do we have left? And there are 300 at least, I guess. Oh, not quite 300. 257,000. Which is good for us, because that'll give us another, what, 3 loads of soybeans we can sell. And barley is coming up as well soon, so by the end of the day, actually. What is it, 10 hours I think it said? Yeah, 10 hours, so maybe we'll do that next episode. Maybe a selling bonanza or something. Jeez. I don't know. We'll see how much time it takes, because I might just progress time forward and just sell all the barley in this episode too. We'll see. See how I feel about that. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I just got a drink of coffee there. I got an interesting email. Not email. I guess it was a message via Facebook the other day. No, I guess it was today. Not the other day. It was today. And it was a network asking me to partner with them. But I'm the type of person to make decisions like that, or any decision really. I take a long time before I make a decision about anything. So it's always interesting to see what people say. I was actually asked once before by a different network to join them, but I had never heard of them, and I just didn't know enough about them. And then just the other network that asked me just today, I guess, if I wanted to join them. Don't know enough about that network, and what I read briefly about them was not very positive. Unfortunately, I suppose, for them. So it's always this is all kind of new to me. I don't know a whole lot about the partner system and all that jazz. Ideally, I'd rather be with people I actually knew and talked to, rather than a mysterious network that came out of the woodwork to say, "Hey, do you want to join us?" sort of thing. So that's just my feeling. Come from a small town, so that's probably part of the reason why I have that sort of I'd rather know the person sort of thing. What am I doing here? There we go, that's better. Jeez. It's driving this tractor like a bus. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but a lot of older buses have the steering wheel like horizontal like that. Where is that? There it is. Have it set up like that. Don't know why, but they do. Yep, so that was the interesting news I got today. So I haven't, honestly, I haven't made any decisions about that. I'll have to do a little bit more research in regards to that before I make any kind of concrete decision. But initial reading was not as good as, was not as that positive, unfortunately. So, but that's the way things go. You know, you read a review of a movie, you read a review of a blender you want to buy, whatever it happens to be. Same thing applies for things like networks and stuff like that. Anyways, slightly off topic, but that's what happened in my day today. Told my girlfriend about that, and she was kind of like, well, that's interesting. What do you know about them? And I basically said, nothing. So, alright. Let's turn this guy off here. There we go. Let's hop back into our... Better put the tarp on. There we go. Hop back into the Peterbilt and get her done here. Alright, that's how it sounds so terrible. It's a little bit... I'm from a small town, but I don't... I try not to use things like that too much. You may, and that's fine. I have no qualms against that. It's just not my style, I guess. So, alright, so 361,000, that's more than enough to buy a field. This is excellent. And it may leave us enough money to buy something else, which we're probably going to need if we do get that field. Let's just check. Where is it again? Someone was suggesting that I combine 4, 5, 9, and 10 and to make one enormous field. That is a possibility. If that had been an initial suggestion, I probably would have done that. I would have at least considered it. But due to the fact that it is rather late in the season, it's slightly more unlikely that I would do something like that. Because I am getting the sensation of... not sensation. I'm getting the feeling that I need to move soon, sort of thing, so... I don't know if you ever get that when you play Farming Simulator yourself. Like, you play a map a little bit, drop some hours into it, and you're like, okay, I'm good. I could do something else now, so... I got that feeling every now and then. Like, once we buy the new field, it'll get to the point where I'm sure I'll be like, okay, all the rest... Like, the only thing that's really left is just making the farm bigger and bigger, and... Which is, you know, that is also fun. But I prefer, like, the initial challenge, it seems like. Or have discovered over time, at least. The initial challenge is what I enjoy most. So... Someone was suggesting that I do a small map with a more realistic mod install or more realistic equipment. Definitely a possibility. Definitely. I don't know which map it would be. Someone also suggested that I do an Irish style map. Apparently there was no bias there. I do like some of the Irish style maps, although it does add a very interesting element, because most Irish maps are styled maps, or British style maps, or Welsh maps, whatever it happens to be. They all tend to have fields all around their they have fence, not fields. Oh my goodness, they have fences all around the fields, which does make it a slightly more interesting to try and to do stuff with. Take a quick peek at our combine. How's he doing? This is good. Let's request our driver over here to get him out of the way. Undoubtedly, he will get in the way. How much have we made so far? $357,000. Wow. Sheesh. Didn't think we made that much from just that, but I guess we have in the end. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unload this combine. Is he going to get there in time? Maybe not. We'll see. We'll see if he gets here in time. And the reason why we're blowing the straw back in the field is because this field, we want to keep it nice and fertile, and that's one of the ways we can do that without adding extra fertilizer to our field. So returning some of the plant matter back to the soil is always a good idea. So when we go ahead and do our no-till operation here, we'll definitely have a good yield, I hope, based on yeah, we're gonna have to stop this guy, based on returning the plant matter back to the soil. So that'll probably help a lot. This is a funny thing. If you want to micromanage, you can totally do it, like I just did there and stopped him. But you're not always watching your combine as closely as I was there. Now I knew that was going to happen. That's why I preemptively sat there. So, all right. How many loads do we got left? 2, 3. Oops, totally missed the ramp there. We have 2 loads, it looks like. And it looks like we're going to make it right on time. It'll be 7:43. Or it is 7:43 right now. And I think we're going to drop... We'll be able to get 2 loads done within 15 minutes. No problem. Or 17 minutes, I'm going to be accurate about it. Not a problem. Which will give us quite a chunk of change to play around with, which is good for us. Very good. Alright, so as I mentioned, the next big purchase is going to be a field, and I could get another toy as well. We'll see. We'll see how much we end up with. Alright. Nice little slowing down turn there. Not quite a full stop, but luckily there's no traffic and there's no police here either, apparently. So that would be kind of an interesting mod if they actually had police in the map, and if you violated some traffic, if you did some traffic violations, they gave you a ticket. I know there are some mods that will, if you go through a red light, it'll give you a ticket. If you go too fast, it'll give you a ticket as well. So I know there are some of those, but it's on this map. If it had it, it would make no sense because there's no traffic. But on maps that do have traffic, it does make a bit more sense. It adds an additional level of realism to the map, which is kind of interesting. When I started playing the Serbian map, I did have, I think it was traffic lights installed, and then you would get a fine for every traffic light you went through, which is kind of cool actually. But I think I ended up removing the mod, not because I didn't like that feature, just because it was an extra mod I really didn't use very often, or I didn't mind removing, is what it boiled down to. Like, you know, you have some of those core mods you love playing with. That wasn't one of them for me, excuse me. So that's the reason why. Also, this is a bit, I guess it's pretty new still. But NI Modding just released one of their new Ford Force conversions, I believe they're called. So now our Ford Force pack, which is a pretty interesting little pack. It's got a couple little tractors some of us probably have never seen and probably will never see, but it's pretty cool. Alright. I keep forgetting to take the tarp off. I think you can fill up with a tarp on. Yeah. Trying to be realistic here. You would never fill up with a tarp on. Jeez. Alright, let's check out our combine. How's he doing? He's doing well. This is good. This is very good. Apparently our New Holland's on a collision course, it looks like. Alright. It's cool. It's cool, but one of my friends I follow on Twitter and on YouTube, he made a time-lapse video of him delivering some soybeans to the grain or the co-op or whatever it was. It was a pretty cool little video because it was in the winter, first of all, and you could see him see where he was driving and how far it was and stuff like that. It was kind of interesting to see. All right, let's put that on there. Perfect. Because you know, you do kind of have to keep an eye on the markets and sell when the price is right, basically. So in a situation like this, obviously we can predict when there's going to be a great demand. And I think it's from the PDA fix mod or something like that. It'll tell you when there's a great demand. So that's why we can plan for these things in this game. But in real life, you definitely can't. I'm not as 100% accurate as I was able to do with this great demand, for instance. Like I was listening to a new podcast the other day called Cropline, and it's a guy by the name of, I think his last name is Johnson, so Peter Johnson I think his name is. On Twitter he's at Wheat Pete, so wheat like in the crop wheat. Anyways, he's like a wheat specialist, and he works for OMAFRA, which is the Ontario Ministry of Agricultural and Farming, I think it is, it's called. Anyway, so he has a podcast that he does via OMAFRA, and one of the things he was saying is that because corn prices were so low this year, they dropped so much after the harvest that a lot of farmers should consider changing to something else. And what a lot of farmers might do this coming spring is they might plant soybeans. So but what will happen is because so many farmers plant soybeans, there may end up being a surplus of soybeans, which would then drive the price down. Now, because he's a wheat guy, he was trying to convince people you should grow wheat instead of planting soybeans because there may be a lack of wheat versus a surplus of soybeans. So it's kind of interesting. Those are the types of things you need to think about more in real life, right? Like, if you have to analyze the market and see what's going on in the market, and then judge based on what you read and some crop analysis, I guess would be, and see what's going on there. So if there is going to be a surplus, or if there's going to be a great demand for a certain product, you have to take that into consideration. So just like in this game, except in real life, it's a lot more volatile. That's for sure. So basically, like for example, let me give you some what I'm talking about. So like right now, in this game, the price of soybeans is $1,686 per ton until the hour changes. So think of it this way. Right after the harvest season, a ton of farmers sell their crop because they need the money to pay for other things. So what happens is there's a large surplus of, let's say, soybeans in this case. So the price tanks like it will at the top of the hour. So at 8 o'clock, it will tank considerably, which happens in real life a lot. Now, it doesn't happen in the space of hours, actually it does. Happens a bit less than that. It'll be like in minutes. Depends how closely you follow the market. But anyways, so it'll drop, right now in the game it'll drop, really? Is that all we have left? Oh, there you go. I thought we had more. So right now, the price will stay at the same price until the top of the hour, and then it'll change. It'll drop down to probably sub 1,000 very quickly, so I have no doubt in my mind that it will drop below that. So the same thing happens in real life. You know, all the farmers harvest their soybeans, the price tanks, and then if not too many farmers plant wheat, for example, like Wheat Pete was suggesting, the price of wheat will go up because there's going to be a demand for wheat because they use it for lots of things, like bread, for example, is a good one, and different types of bread, and lots of different things. Some people use it for feed as well, I suppose. I know in some TMR or total mixed ration mixes, people will mix in crushed oats as a source of fiber, I want to say it is. I read a post a while back that talked about that a bit, but I don't recall the exact what exactly was in it or not. So, one of those things. Alright, so last load of soybeans. We're at $719,000. Goodness gracious. We've been pretty lucky with soybeans, actually. This is the second great demand we've had with soybeans. Alright, so let's just take a quick drive back to the farm. And let's just increase time just slightly. So right now, let's just take a... I'm just going to stop. I'm going to speed up time. We're going to take a look at the price. So it's 757 right now, and it's 1,686. So for gas time, it is now at... It dropped $600 a ton there, which is exactly what would happen in real life if it got that much. Well, if it got a large amount of soybeans influx like it did there. So basically now that price is the standard price for soybeans, basically. So now because we sold them all within the hour, we are good. Alright, so the same thing happens in real life is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not sure if this game is that complex where if I sell only soybeans and then we'll get a great demand for something I haven't sold. Like technically, I haven't really planted that much wheat in this map, or on this map. So I should get more great demands for wheat, but that hasn't happened. I think we may have had one. I think maybe that I can think of, something like that. All right, perfect. Now let's take a quick little peek at how our combine is doing, and we'll go from there. Oops, I should have just parked the truck here. These are the times where I wish the mirrors in the trucks worked. But as I mentioned with the Kenworth that we had earlier on, what was it called? The Cat Actros? No, it wasn't the Actros. It was the other one. Anyways, that actually had working mirrors, but it just didn't have the power of this Peterbilt, so that was one of the downfalls of it. Alright, so manure is on great demand as well, and I honestly don't think it's worth it. Where is manure? $100 a ton? Well, that's more than slurry, that's for sure. Alright, so let's do this before I forget about this, because I've been meaning to do this for a while as well. Alright, so one of the other goals that we had set for ourselves was to buy a solar panel as well. So let me do a couple things first. Let me buy field 23 right here, because that was one of the fields we looked at. Bing, bang, boom, field 23. So we now have 4 fields set up, or four fields that we own, and that leaves us 508,000. So let's buy one of these. So let's put it in our location where we put other things. Luckily the cows aren't too rough on solar panels, so we're able to put it right here. Let's put it in the sun here, right out away from the tree. So we got $383,000. Do I want to buy another one? That for now we'll just stay at 1, I think. So let's go take a quick peek at that. Do a little bit of hurdles here. There we go. Hello, cows. And while we're over here, we'll pick up the eggs because we have 21 eggs sitting in our chicken coop. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. I wish this farm had beef cattle. I don't know why they didn't put beef cattle in it. It's one of the mods you don't see, or one of the things you don't see very often. So I'm not that surprised by it, but just be a nice thing to have. Now I know there are placeable beef cows, but it's not if it's designed into the map. I haven't seen any maps that have beef cows made into the map, like these dairy cows, for example, where they will roam around and stuff. Alright. Looks like our solar panel is doing well. Nice. It's gaining energy or money for us, which is good. Nice. It's not very exciting. Not nearly as exciting as the bees, at least. Because at least the bees make a buzzing sound and you can see them moving around. That, not so much. Anyways. Alright, so what other things do we need to do? I think that's it for this episode. What I'll do is I'll come back in... What are we at? Oops, why did I skip that? I will come back when the barley is on great demand and we'll sell some of our barley. Because we do have a chunk of that now too. 228,000 liters of barley. Alright, so we'll stop it there for the time being. My name's Ian Robson. This has been Farming Simulator 2013 and we're playing on the American farm. Catch you guys later.